Right, guys, I think we've got some sound back. Apologies for a shoddy start like that. That was the network letting us down. Good old Preston network. But yeah, I think if you can hear us, give us a nod on the live chat on YouTube, where we've got quite a few people watching and a few people questioning. So yes, we are underway with the Plywood Masters Final 2022 here in Preston at Boulder UK. And obviously we've got the first two climbers out on the mat, and that is Molly Thompson-Smith on female 1, and over to her right is Sam Butterworth. Molly is obviously a very regular climber in the comp scene and well known throughout the competition scene, both in the UK and abroad. Lots of international performances and results, some very good results from Molly, especially in the lead discipline. But she is no slouch when it comes to bouldering. Let's see how she is getting on with this first boulder. Looks like a super awkward start, but making good progress. Sam Butters just dropping that little 1-2 hill hook catch over on the right hand side of the wall, but main screen we've got Molly Thompson-Smith cruising past the zone. She's decided to go out to the zone now. Oof. Was quite a good effort by Molly there.
And I'm back in with you now, Gaz, too.
Oh, welcome back, Leah. You have a nice little holiday there.
Yeah, just a little break. Don't mind me.
Well, it's good to be together again. But yeah, we're underway. So we've got women's 1 and men's 2 underway. Sam Butterworth at the minute. This looks like a cheeky little 1-2 hill hook catch, and he almost holds it. That's second
a cool
attempt.
Move.
Third attempt, actually, yeah. Molly's already been into this position, so she has a good idea of what she's doing. And that is the end of the rotation for Molly and Sam. Well, Sam's still going, actually. Molly's called it quits. That's the end of Sam's attempt.
He looks happy with himself, though. I think he had a good try. He was close to sticking that move moving across the wall. That was a cool move to see, actually. We see quite a lot of coordination moves, I guess, with hands, but never that often with the feet. So whose ever block that was a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, that was Max Ayrton's boulder, actually. And the pink boulder for the females was James Garden's. So we've just got a quick look at the start list there for the men's. Coming out in reverse order: Sam Butterworth, Toby Roberts, Billy Rydell, Diane Actor, Max Milne, Hamish MacArthur. And for the females, we've got Molly Thompson-Smith, who we've just seen, Tara Hayes, Erin McNeese, Thea Cameron, Michaela Tracy, and qualifying in first place is Holly Tootle. And here we are now with Tara's first attempt. A little bit of a different approach to Molly. Obviously, both athletes are quite different in size. Molly's a little bit shorter than Tara. Now, Looks like Tara is going to head out to the zone hold. That's it. Zone with her left hand. Now a little bit of snatch back right. Didn't quite hold that. There we go, Toby Roberts on the right hand side. Known mainly for his amazing ability on the sport routes. He's been crushing some of the hardest sport routes in the UK. If he continues like this, he's going to be running out pretty darn fast. But he's absolutely no slouch on the boulder problems. Cheeky use of that bolt hole that's currently empty. Everything at this wall, you might notice, is a screw on. There are no bolt holes whatsoever at this centre, Boulder UK in Preston.
He's doing a good job of...
Go on, sorry, Leah.
No, I was going to say he's doing a good job of trying to get every little bit he can out of it, though, even though there's no bolt in it.
every little bit counts, yeah. Those bolt holes and the screw holes in the actual holds are allowed. Tara managed to make it to the zone again, but couldn't quite get the right hand out. That looks like the move you need to do.
That wall angle that Tara's on, Gaz, looks quite sort of hard to read. What angle are we looking at? Is that quite steep there, or?
So this is underneath there, underneath that blue line is actually quite steep, cuts away, and then this is a slight slab that the majority of the boulder is on. It's the same angle where we had the old school men's semi-final boulder.
Black
honeycombs. The honeycombs. That's it. Yeah. So Toby Roberts back on board. So we can already see the scores on the doors on the left hand side. Tony's already moved ahead of Sam Butterworth, and likewise Tara's moved ahead of Molly Thompson. Toby making that move out to the zone look easy once again. He's gone right to the top of that hold, and looks like he's digging his fingernails in the back of the volume. That'll be a bit of a Ravens Tar action right there.
I think the setters have definitely gone marginal on the size of these next holds, haven't they?
Yeah.
Not giving them much to work with.
Some quite small holds that are also blocked as well, so definitely a little bit awkward. Nice view of the left-hand side of the competition wall. We'll see some of that further down the line. That's looking at blocks 3 for the ladies, men's 2, and men's 3 down the end. Quick replay of Toby Roberts trying to crimp down on the top of that zone hold. Absolutely horrible. Next two climbers out then, Erin McNeish and Billy Rydell. Looks like Billy's going to be the first to pull on. Erin just prepping the holds, giving everything a brush. Billy is underway.
Toby definitely looked very comfortable in this position, moving across the slab. Billy, yes, it's his first go. He's looking a little bit more tentative. But there just seems to look like there's less room on that wall for him than there was for Toby.
Yeah, well, they're both quite different sizes. I mean, Toby is quite small. Billy is one of the taller competitors, I think, and this definitely probably the tallest in the final itself. So quite different body sizes. But Billy's no slouch on the old slabs. The old Vert Tech. Erin dropping that move again where you've got to flip the right hand out with the left hand on the zone. Billy tried to do the quick foot match, catch the heel. Seemed a little bit frustrated with himself.
Did you say this was a Dave Barron's boulder? Was it a Max boulder?
This one is a Max boulder, this one. And the females one is a James boulder.
Interesting to see if the judges gave Billy an attempt there, because he did hop that foot. I know he wasn't matched on the start hold, but we'll see how strict they're being on rules.
Yeah, you got to be so careful with that type of thing nowadays, even if it's just a little bump in closer to the wall to make the start easier, but he should know better. He's been in and around the comp scene for quite a long time now.
And the girls seem to be making their way up to the next hold relatively easily, and then as soon as they're on the zone, it all kind of comes apart. I'm wondering if these, obviously they're very slopey holds, but they're just not quite what you want on this slab. At least Billy stuck his foot match move.
Yep, finally, he's done it. Let's see if we can top it. Might have a little
what
bit
are you
more.
reading here, Gaz? Are you reading a double pinch match?
Well,
Or now he's going to reach over.
I don't know what he's reaching over to there. That looks absolutely horrific. That face. He's trying really hard. And that foothold, we know that foothold quite well. It's a very popular one with the root setters when it comes to something really bad. Such a bad foothold. Campus last move. Yes. Good top there from Billy. He's really happy with that one.
I think the root setters also, they're just making sure that people are keeping on top of their finger strength training and not just their hop and pops. Competition style.
Yeah, well, we're going to see quite a mix, I think, in this final. Obviously, it is good to try and challenge the climbers in as many ways as possible. Parkour is obviously very popular. We've had a few jams in the qualification, some really ratty crimps in the semi-final, but also some quite funky volume action. So, yeah, a really good mix, I think, from the root setters already this weekend. And hopefully the final will continue in the same vein.
So next out on the women's, we have Thea Cameron.
And for the men, we've got Diane Akhtar.
Now Thea, the next three climbers for the girls, Thea and upwards, all topped all the boulders in semi-finals. So let's see what Thea can do. But on with the main screen for Diane at the moment. Just taking a wobble go.
Thea will be a popular climber in this centre. This is her local centre, Boulder UK. 21 years old now. She's been climbing for quite a long time. Favourite places to climb, Rodea, Kilnsey. Some of the best sport climbing on the planet at both those crags. But she's no slouch when it comes to the boulders. And neither is this chap as he balances across. Looking for a slightly different method. Didn't seem to work this time. Thea back on the female boulder 1. Very powerful start, very compressed. It requires a lot of flexibility as well at the same time. Quite an interesting challenge.
Quite a lot of swing there with getting her foot up. I think dialing that down a little bit could help her maybe stay in balance, but she's also a slightly taller climber, so there's quite a lot of her to fit in a short gap. Diane's taking a good slow approach. He looks more in control this time, and I guess the confidence is building the more attempts he has, but that can cost you on the scoreboard.
And for a different method this time. Oh, balance. Not too sure you can do it too slow. That boulder. I think there is a little bit of dynamicism required. Thea still struggling on the start of the female one. Taking a moment to look. Try and see if she's doing everything right.
I think this is one of the hardest times as a competitor, when you really have to keep your cool when you're struggling on the first move or the first couple of moves, and you have that internal battle in your mind of, I can do this, I should be able to do this, I can do this, and then needing to make that actually come together as the clock is counting down and people are watching. It can be a bit of a lonely place to be. Let's see if she can pull it together. Just needs to keep into the wall as she gets that foot up. Or knee. We'll take that too. Come on, Thea, make this work. Oh, I was willing her to make that knee work then. I'm not seeing a knee on for quite a while. So I don't think they'll have much longer left. Both of them chipping away at these same moves just to learn something new. And it's not to be for either of them this time. So now they'll have to go back into isolation, just regroup their thoughts. They'll obviously know what the other competitors have done from the crowds cheering or not. So they need to just go and recompose themselves, put that behind them, and wait for the next block. I think that's the thing I love about competition climbing, is you're never going to see these blocks again. They're there for the 4 or 5 minutes of time, depending on what competition you're in, and then they're gone. After that, you'll never get to revisit them. Unless, of course, these final blocks are staying up at Boulder UK, but that'll be a question that we'll probably have to get answered a little bit later on. So we've got Michaela pulling on for her first block. Michaela Tracy, and we have Max Milne on men's block 1. Let's see if Michaela's going to read this move. Here we go. She just needs to lock herself in and slowly bring that foot up.
Yeah, nicely done by Michaela there. Showing some very good flexibility. And
she's got her fingers in a screw hole there.
Dialing in on that screw hole, yeah, made that stand up a lot easier. Now, yeah, she's looking to go direct there with that right hand. It might work. But up to now, everyone's gone to the zone first.
Definitely good at finding alternative beta. She's really good on slopers. So this,
wow, yes.
This is up
this
her
is
street,
looking
this
good.
One. Committing top move here. I was about to say it's a jug, but I don't know if it is. She looked like she came out quite far away from the wall then. Is that top hold a good hold?
Well, she didn't manage to get a body over at all, really. So I think once a body's over and it's underneath the hold, then yes, it's going to feel quite good. But from where she was, her body and centre of gravity stayed way over to the right. So she didn't really get any weight onto the hold at all. Meanwhile, back in the M1 area, Max Milne. First time we've seen him on this part of the route and part of the boulder. Steady away through that section. Yeah, very good. Let's see, he moves up the ranking. You can see the ranking, live ranking on the left hand side of your screen. He's up into 3rd place already with that zone hold. Now then, both climbers high on the boulders now. Max couldn't quite do much with that crimp. Michaela is back where she's been before almost. She's going to go for the same method, this shoulder press, palm out to get that zone hold, flip the right hand, foot down. Yeah, absolutely the same method, a bit quicker this time. Let's see how she does on this last move now. She really knows she needs to get over to the left. Trying a different method with the high right foot. Yes, 2 hands, solid top for Michaela there. She's pretty psyched.
And I think that was potentially some rather loud screaming in the comp pool there. But like you said, she's psyched. That was a good, valiant effort from her there.
Yeah, Max didn't make any further progress on men's number 1. That's it. Now we've got the top 2 qualifiers out on the mat. Holly Tootill and Hamish MacArthur. Definitely some good talent in this final today. Some very strong climbers. Hamish there prepping those pretty grim crimps up there. Opting to take the chart bag with him. So we know the women's boulder has been topped. Men's yet to be climbed.
I think obviously this is going to be a bit of a mental battle for Holly also. The lights were flashing, everyone was screaming. Michaela was screaming. So she knows that she's going to be at the top of the wall. Holly's climbed quite a lot on these particular holds in training as well. So she'll know where the good bits are and where they're not.
Yeah, this current set of Axis is a very popular hold on the scene at the moment. So yeah, they've been climbing on these quite a lot at the climbing works. Holly opting for a slightly different body position with the feet. Michaela kept the left foot low. Holly chose to step high. Hamish on his second attempt.
I do know that Hamish and Max train quite frequently together. Wonder what Hamish is thinking, that Max didn't get a top here, so obviously a chance for him to pull ahead, but equally might be quite puzzled as to what happened.
Yeah, interesting pair, these two. They train together a lot, that's for sure, and they're very different climbers, very different sizes, very different capabilities, but both extremely strong on the boulders, and obviously Hamish is also extremely good on the roots as well. Very talented young climber.
Holly doing well to repeat these moves as well. I do like the skill in being able to repeat hard moves is such a needed one for a competition climber, especially when you start getting to the second to last or the last move and it just doesn't quite go your way. Being able to pull back on and re-execute the hard moves that you've just done, it will save so much energy. Oh, Holly just swinging about too much, just a little bit too much. Under a minute, so Holly will probably be looking at potentially her last go next go. Hamish on the other hand trying to get his bonus point in.
Yeah, Hamish hasn't got the zone on that yet.
Yeah, that wasn't a used zone there for me, but
Holly's back on, needs to climb quick. Almost down to 20 seconds. A little bit of frustration coming in there. Hamish probably has time to nail this. This zone could be very important for the competition. That's a good one. Now his height and a bit of speed now might work. Seconds are counting down. He's going to have to move fast. 3, 2, 1. And that is a brilliant top by Hamish there. Wow. Pulled that one out of the bag.
Taking it to the wire, we also just saw Holly, by the look of it, walk to the top, but a little bit out of time, which is even more frustrating.
I think looking at the scoreboard, she didn't actually get the given the top there. Was slightly out of time, but she did top the boulder. She'll be a little bit frustrated with that, but she needs to put those frustrations away because there's a lot more bouldering, a lot more climbing to come yet. I mean, that's always a hard moment when you actually top a boulder like that and you don't get the top. And it's early in this final still, and you've got to go back round the back of the wall and just sit there and wait, and all these thoughts, what ifs, going through your mind, and you've got to come out and perform again on the second, third, and fourth blocks. It's a big ask.
My competitor head would definitely be very frustrated, but then my training head would also be quite happy that I could top the block. I did top the block. It was obviously out of time, so I think there is still definitely positives she can take away from this, but that doesn't mean that it's not really frustrating when you want to win. So Molly pulling on quite quick actually to block 2. On these, again, big slopey shapes, looking quite small. She needs to trust her feet quite a lot there. That would be a bit of a tricky position to get enough height but not be too bunched.
Yeah, Sam Butterworth as well on men's 2, making good progress, reading this shoulder press and then flip the right hand into the undercut. This is a Dave Barron's boulder, possibly something that's going to suit the slightly smaller climber in a small space, little person in a little box. Not that Dave's little, you know. Well, he's quite small.
He can do big moves though.
Oh, I know. Yeah, he's pretty good on the open move. Yeah,
He can do big moves.
a quick big up to a couple of people watching. I'm not too sure where they're watching from, but Yann Genoux, international route setter, a French setter who's based in the UK. I think most people know about Yann. Sets a lot of the hard lead routes for the British team, and sets internationally as well. And also Slovenian climber Domen Skofic. Hi Domen, hope you're doing well. Molly is doing well for sure, that's for sure. She's getting very high now onto this zone. Now what is the method for this last move? Looks like an interesting sequence for that last move. It's quite hard to read. Looks like there's a few different ways of doing it, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like she almost looked good the first time round and looked like she was going to come under to the undercut with her right, but equally I think she does need to get something going on with her right foot in order to be able to oppose that.
Now we're going to see this shoulder press into this small space here. Very bad hold with the left. And then flip this right hand now. There you go with the flip. Nicely climbed.
Making light work of that move this time though. It's like it's in a very stable position with what looks like a blind pop to the top move. Can't quite tell where the next hold is.
It's completely blind, Yeah, you're right there. I didn't actually look at that top hold, so I can't remember what it is and how good it is either. Oh yes, it's definitely a bit of a blindish. Yeah, I can see it on one of the photos that I took earlier. But from that body position that the climber is in, it's impossible to see the actual part of the hold that you want to get with the left hand. A good attempt though. This is the go for the top, and yeah, it looked like he was just too high on it, basically.
He was close. I wonder if that was, is it the same hold or similar hold to the women's red block in semi-final? The pocket.
I don't think it's as good as that, actually. I think it might be a little bit shallower.
Well, let's see what Toby can come up with. So let's see if he has made a little bit of a mental note on where that top hold is, so that he doesn't have to guess when he gets to the top. He can have a educated aim for it.
An educated stab in the spotlight. Tara Hayes, first to pull off the ground on this new set of holds from Contact. Some nice big shapes. All with a very similar theme, from being good to not so good.
There's quite a few volumes in this set, and there's, well, like you say, big shapes, but there seems to be quite a few foot errors going on from some of these climbers.
Well, the route setters do like to use a bad foot. Toby Roberts, though, making very, very good progress on this men's 2. Just using that thigh bar, I wouldn't say a knee bar, not quite. He's just dragging the thigh underneath the volume. Seems to be finding a cheeky little toe. He's going to go control to the top, I think. There he goes. He finds the pocket. Gets the match. That's a very good top there. Toby Roberts jumps straight to the top of the leaderboard. Straight to the top of the leaderboard with that top. Got a bit tongue twisted then.
Yeah, that was really good to see him actually stay quite composed, think about the top move, what's going to happen once I've gone for it. Just thinking to put that toe hook in before he went. Yeah, just taking that extra 5 or 6 seconds just to think that out and reap the rewards.
Yeah, he looked such a pro on that boulder, to be honest. He was totally calm and collected. Thought it through. Oh, that was a bit of a waste from Tara, that little slip.
Yeah, that's the second right foot pop she's had on the same point. So hoping that this brushing is going to make a difference. There's only been her and Molly on it so far, so it shouldn't have got too slippy too quickly.
No, I think there should be. Yeah, I think she's just not really focusing probably on those little foot movements, those micro movements, and just plonking the foot a bit too much. And not being that precise with it, even though it is just a smear. She's not liking it in that space. Looks like she's got a little bit of skin problems. She's decided to tap out quite early there. Still 1 minute left on the clock. But yeah, maybe she's going around the back of the wall, and we'll probably see her again soon, brandishing a little bit of finger tape.
I think that's harsh reality for some of these climbers who work as route setters, is they train as well as route setting and testing, and the one thing that you don't get to have a frequent supply of sometimes is skin. So to put a 30 block qualifier and then a semis and then a finals at the weekend for Tara is quite a big ask for her skin.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of the holes that the guys are climbing on this weekend are absolutely brand new. The Contact holds there that are being brushed on female 2 are pretty much box fresh. There's only the route setters climbed on this. So very little usage, so they'll be super rough, super sharp, and not that great for the skin. So we've got Erin back out on the mat and Hamish over on the men's boulder.
Is it Billy? Yeah, it's Billy.
Billy, sorry, yes, Billy.
That's all right.
Thank you for correcting me. That's exactly why we're both here. Keep each other in line.
I hope Hamish isn't out right now, because he's not meant to be. Making these moves look quite casual, though. He looks really comfortable. Let's see if he can either have a little bit height on his side to reach this top hold, which he did do easy.
Yeah, and
Easy.
it was good to see the feet there as well. He managed to keep that right foot on a bit of a heel toe against the wall and use his height, like you said, Leah, to get that finishing hold nice and controlled. Made it look like a bit of a walk in the park.
Got to get the biceps involved on this one, Erin. Big pull up. Nice, good effort. That was a battle there. She won't want to do that move too many times. So if she can pull through this top section and not have to repeat that, that would be beneficial for the rest of her comp. I mean, obviously that goes without saying, but
oh, you can see her hands sliding on that volume there and left a few sweaty fingerprints. That's not going to be that.
As long as it's sweat and not blood, otherwise she will have to stop and tape up, unfortunately, and she doesn't get any time back if that's the case. So I hope she's got a little bit of. I hope all the climbers have got some tape in their chalk bags, getting ready to do some emergency first aid if needed. You can definitely tell the difference between the climbers that have been climbing or in competition for a long time where that's happened to, and they have to wait for someone to run away and come back with a roll of tape.
Oh, complete nightmare that, isn't it? It's one of the big challenges in the comps nowadays is the amount of skin that a competitor has got and uses throughout an event, and coming into a final with good skin can be a make or break, really.
I think that's something as well that the route setters are becoming slightly more aware of, especially in the more sort of humid locations that competitions are held in. What times of day it's going to be and what holds are they putting on the wall.
Erin back on. Physical start, burly undercuts.
Getting through that much easier this time though. Looking more comfortable just to commit to those moves. Interesting with a heel.
I don't think
I want her to catch a toe.
Yeah, I agree.
But I guess if that left hand's feeling particularly slippy, that's not something that, she's going to want to do. You just see her rolling over to that next hold there, wanting the toe to catch, but definitely a centre of mass is just too far out from the wall for that to work. And she's done. 20 seconds to go, but I think she knows she's bagged the bonus there, and that's good enough for her. I say she bagged the bonus. I'm actually just looking closer. I don't think.
Doesn't look like she did.
No. No. The bonus. Yeah, didn't quite get that bonus. Bonus on the next hold up. She was so close.
So both climbers just prepping the boulders. Men's 2 and females 2. We're still a long way to go before we crown the champions Plywood Masters 2022. Everybody has their eyes on the title.
Thea Cameron getting up to the same spot as Erin just before. It's just everybody looking at the hands. Thea's covered in tape on her fingers. Obviously getting the brush out to try and help herself just a little bit, but it's I feel for these climbers on these rough holds.
Climbing with tape on is not a good experience, but yeah, it is what it is. These holds have friction on them, and they wear the skin out. Diane is back on board, opts for the route setters method. This doesn't quite know. I'm not seen the flip yet. He's looking at trying to match that up somehow.
Well, that was a good rubber mark off that volume there, that left foot going flying.
A couple of pounds worth of rubber left on that volume.
I don't know about you guys, but I actually can't climb with tape on. I've tried so many times, and as soon as my skin's at the point that I have to put tape on, it's just my session over.
On the tips, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I can't do it either. In general, my skin's quite good. I don't really tend to go through it, but you still get to the same point where they're just, wetter than an otter's pocket, and you're still just sliding off everything anyway.
Yeah, I think Thea did a good job there of actually trying to move a little bit quicker through that section, but still just coming up a little bit short on that move. Obviously, Molly back out first did get her bonus for that block.
Diane back on. Men's 2. This is the right way to do it, hopefully. Shoulder press, left hand up. That's the one, and then flip that undercut. Come on. No, he doesn't want to do it, does he? It's making it hard for himself there. The 46 seconds on the clock.
Probably moving into some last attempts here. Although collecting this bonus for Thea would really boost her up the scoreboard. Oh, just
Diane having an absolute epic on the start of that boulder. Just completely failed to read the method, which is really quite interesting to see. Very interesting. When you see him climb through the qualifiers so well, and through the semi-final so well, and then to have a bit of a meltdown on that boulder, he'll not be happy with that.
I guess though the field for a British competition was fairly full. There were a few missing names, being injured or on trips on rock, but this will be a good start for his season. At the moment, I think the amount of brain power needed to make sure that you're not making mistakes in the route reading is, it's a long weekend for a lot of these climbers, and ultimately their first comp against a lot of the other competitors as well. So I do feel sorry for him in a way of not seeing that particular move, but I'm also not surprised for the amount of thinking and figuring out that they've had to do.
Next 2 climbers out then, we've got Max Milne and Michaela Tracy. Michaela Tracy is the oldest person in this final. She is 30, and with an exclamation mark, she said on her notes. Yeah. And 167.5 centimetres, depending on the length of her hair on that day. But let's see how she gets on with this boulder. Max moving through that sequence. Gone for a slightly different sequence than the route setters, but let's see what he can do. Michaela moving well. Max already getting close to the top. Just needs to know where this finishing pocket is. Big stretch. Good match. Good top from Max Milne there. Michaela Tracy also on the zone. So we flip back to the full screen. Michaela just needs to work out how to get that heel out. So she flicks it to the toe. A little bit of energy used there.
Good that she has bagged the zone this time though, and looks fairly comfortable on the middle sloper. As I said before, she does like slopey holds, open-handed holds. She's really good at moving around on them. So
she's got plenty of time on the clock as well, to be honest. 2:20. Bit of time out now to give the holds a quick brush.
One of my fondest memories of Michaela was listening to her argue the viscosity of jam with an airport security attendant because she had it in her hand luggage.
Did she win?
She did not, no.
No, yeah.
I think at that point as well, we kind of said, like, maybe give up a little bit, but...
yeah, I failed on the chocolate spread version of that as well, actually, which is, yeah, a bit of a shame, really.
But I'm so impressed. She's absolutely killing it still. Like, yes, she's 30. She's been climbing for a really long time. She's still loving it. She's still hitting the rock. She's still pushing the grades. she's a fantastic climber in competition, and she's great to watch. And just it's so cool that she's still going.
And she has also won a event, won the Plywood Masters in the past as well. She's a past champion, and she's, like I said before, she is the oldest competitor in these finals, 30 years old. And in her other life, get this, she makes computer programs for Red Bull Racing. There's a fact you didn't know, or maybe you did, I don't know. I didn't know it anyway.
I didn't know that fact. However, Michaela is a really good person to have around when you're trying to do a crossword and you don't know a lot of the questions, because she's also a fountain of random knowledge.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And she's also a bit of a beastess when it comes to climbing, and she is back on. She's got 30 seconds left, so she's going to have to move quite quickly as she is through this section. She's on the zone now. Come on, 20 seconds. Look really good there. It looks a really hard move coming out of that zone, Leah.
Yeah, not quite figuring it out there. I'd still be intrigued to see what the way is. We still have Holly to watch, so we can see if she can unravel the mystery. That's a high zone, though. I mean, the zone seems placed on a good hold by the route setters there. It's definitely split the field, which is good. It's needed. But yeah, we'll see what Holly can pull out of the bag. Hamish pulling onto this block. He did say it was set by Dave. Hamish and Dave are very different body heights, so we'll see how well Hamish can contort himself into these spaces between the volumes.
Yeah, well, I did. When I first saw the block, I thought that would be a problem, but obviously we had Hamish MacArthur, Billy Rydell on it, and him and Hamish are about similar sort of size, both quite tall climbers, and Billy didn't have too many problems. See what Hamish does. He's pretty flexible kind of guy. He's gone back down into that shoulder press now. There you go. Now he needs to, so he's got a shoulder underneath that volume, and then where he put his left hand, he needs to take that really bad screw on and then flip the right hand into an undercut. He had the right idea the first time. Back with Holly, struggling again to find that sweet spot on that big sloper.
I always find Holly quite a hard one to read. She doesn't give much away in her facial expressions. Every now and then she'll, get a glimpse, she'll get a bit annoyed about something, and she might grab a brush stick to brush her holds or something, but otherwise she's quite cool as a cucumber. Hamish putting a heel on here. I don't know, Gaz, if you agree. Almost looks like he wants to put a toe on and swivel in, but
yeah, I think so. The heel's gonna probably restrict the body movements a little bit in that space.
Yeah. Hard to see from here, what he's actually trying to hold on to with his right hand under that volume, if it's a good crimp, if it's a slopey crimp, but it's obviously not anything too big, otherwise I'm sure he would just be pulling through this like it wasn't a problem. Opting for the lock off campus through on volumes there, didn't work. Holly fighting through. Back up to a high point that she was at before. Michaela before her putting her heel in. That's an awkward move from Holly there, putting that toe in so close and rolling through. That was a good effort on the match.
Hamish sticking with this heel method. It's not seeming to work very well. Looked like he had a little twinge there or something. Hopped a little bit funnily when he landed on the ground. 1 minute left on the clock for the final climbers on boulder number 2. Right, let's see if he's going to try the right sequence. That's it. Shoulder press. Come on, Hamish. That's it. Oh, he's going for the match again. quite seeing the method on this. Really struggling.
Getting that toe on though last time, he did swivel around quite a lot easier. So he's still got 30 seconds to pull on, so we'll see. Holly needs to do some big commitment moves here to get through this next section. Still matching. Still.
I've seen that hold underneath there, and it's definitely not the sort of thing you want to be matching on. Now, while we just change over and we move on to block 3, I've got Holly's info sheet here, and her claim to fame is that she's Jim Pope's girlfriend. I don't know if she wrote that, but that's her claim to fame.
What about if Jim Pope's her boyfriend? There we go.
Possibly that might be true as well. Yes, and she favours short walk-ins. And an interesting fact about her, that she was a JLS backup dancer. Apparently.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know if you can shed some truth on that fact.
Do you know, actually, I can't. B, I've not spent tons of time with Holly, actually. Not really. She doesn't really spend much time down in Sheffield. Stays where she is. Training, obviously gets out on the rock when she can.
Yeah, she's a big fan of City Block, isn't she? In Leeds, great wall.
Yeah, but I can't vouch for the JLS backup dancer. I'm hoping someone hasn't got her sheet and filled it in for her.
That's definitely a possibility in isolation. Yeah, anything like that could happen. I actually had to Google what JLS was, and yes, it is a boy band.
Yeah, a bit after your time there, guys.
Yep.
You'll see that we only have, like most things. You'll see that we only have Sam Butterworth on the wall. Just as Holly was going back into isolation, you might have seen Molly sat watching the competition, which wouldn't normally be happening. She'd have an ice pack on her shoulder. So Molly, I hope you're okay. That'll be a tactical decision, I'm sure, from her, just to protect herself. She's got, I'm sure, a big season ahead of her. So hopefully that's nothing too bad, and just something that she's can nip in the bud when she's back.
Yeah, I mean, obviously these competitors, this is right at the start of the season, really. We've got the Quiff coming up as well, and then obviously everybody launches into some international events. So it's a big year ahead. And hopefully we won't get any restrictions going forward. So hopefully it's not an issue for Molly's shoulder, and it's just a precautionary choice to pull out of this final. So all eyes on Sam on boulder number 3.
So speaking of the Plywood Masters, Gaz, Plywood Masters started in 2003.
Quite a long time ago.
You were heavily involved with this competition back then. You know, where did it come from? Where was it born from?
Well, Boulder UK was originally set up in Blackburn by a small group of site climbers, myself and Ian Vickers, Paul Dewhurst, Ian's dad, and we built a plywood wall, probably the best plywood wall in the world, as it was known as at the time. And it was actually pre-climbing works in Sheffield, so it was quite an early manifestation of what you see today in modern climbing walls. And then it's moved to Preston, and we are still continuing with the Plywood Masters events. Obviously we had a little bit of a gap due to you know what, but you've been here as well. You've competed yourself. You've taken the title back in the day, Leah.
It seems like a very long time ago. I don't even remember. I do obviously have a list here.
And you were on that list.
I'm on the list. Not that I remember it, but there we go. That's what climbing for a really long time does for your memory, as I'm sure you can share that idea with.
Yeah, well, apparently I've won it twice as well. I don't remember either of those. But
think
yeah,
back then, all the competitions mould into one, don't they? You see all your friends and you have a good time and you climb on loads of cool blocks, and some of you win and some of you don't, and then you all go home and do it again the next weekend.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Quick turnover now. We're going to have 2 climbers out on the mat. Toby Roberts and Tara Hayes. So this will be our first look of women's block 3 over on the far left-hand side. Women on the slab. And climbing on some quite interesting dual text holds from Ibex, one of the sponsors of this event. Tara making a quick start there. You can see she's actually got a pair of very soft boots on, which should help her a lot on this boulder problem. Toby also making good start, quite quickly, nearly on the zone.
Come on, Toby! Dig deep, dude, come on! Come on, Toby!
2 very different style blocks here. The boys getting some quite steep burl, and Tara just figuring out her weight distribution by the look of it on this block, and maybe it has bad friction. Just a little drop off there from Tara. Obviously not impressed with the holds that she's been given.
I think it's got some bad holds, to be honest. Yeah, I did see this is another Barron's boulder, this one, and at last minute they were making a couple of tweaks on it. That start hold dropped down closer to the volume, makes it a little bit more awkward for the initial stand up. The walk across looked pretty steady, and then the top section where Tara just lost it and dropped off is hard for sure. This second plate to her right is pretty bad.
And a few more foot pops here on these volumes.
So apparently, Leah, you won in 2009.
2009.
In 2009, and I won in 2005 and 2007. We've got some quality names on this list: Andy Earl, Sadie Renwick, Hazel Finley, Catherine Shermacker, Ryan Pascal, Shauna Coxey, Leah Crane, obviously, Dave Barron's winning the title 5 times, Michaela Tracy's won it, Hannah Slaney, Jim Pope is the current champion, and Nathan Phillips also with 2 titles. Now that is a list of some pretty good climbers, to be honest. And we are looking for the 2022 champion as well, and we're going to find out that person at the end of this finals.
Well, Hannah not quite making it through 2 finals, so can't defend her title, and Jim Pope opting for the Rock of Switzerland instead of this competition, so neither of them defending their 2020 titles.
Jim could possibly be losing as much skin as the competitors today, to be honest.
Although I feel like if you gave Jim the option of a comp or rock, he would be choosing the rock option.
Yeah, I totally agree. He's a climber that basically loves climbing on everything at the end of the day, doesn't he? Whether it's bouldering, gritstone, granite. He likes climbing indoors as well. He really enjoys it, but he also loves the routes as well. Great route climber. Very, very good pedigree. Tara back on with 27 seconds left on the clock. Toby just pings off that sloper.
Tara pulling on with her her left foot there looked like a good shout actually, because it meant no foot adjustments. Really, she's really not enjoying that left hand.
It looks pretty shocking, that left hand. It looks there's chalk where the thumb is to go, but she didn't look like she could get onto that part. Whether it is better or whether it's just a bit of a white herring, as it were, who knows? You can, yeah, it just drops off there. No, she's got only a second or 2 left. Next 2 climbers out on the mat. Erin McNeese, Billy Rydell. Both straight in there with the brushes, getting the prep on. The men's block is on contact holds. Another new set from the guys at Contact based in Sheffield. This is their rimless set. First they've made, so yeah, box fresh holds again. Not that great for the skin, but yeah, good friction. As Billy loses a few layers on that move.
Yeah, Billy's quite fond of an overhanging power boulder. Definitely got the slab skills, but the compression, the heel hooks and the fridge hugging style blocks, he always seems to manage to power scream his way up.
Erin struggling to pull on that first attempt. Managed to get on board this time now. Needs to find the balance and trust them feet. Step through. Long distance out for that right foot.
Just looking at where she landed on that volume, Gaz, was quite close into the wall, pushing her hips out quite a lot, which isn't going to do her many favours trying to grab the sloper with the right hand. If she can land, I think maybe just a little bit further down the volume, whilst it's a bit of a mind game. You don't want to slip off the edge, you don't want to miss. But if you go in too close to the wall, it's just going to topple you off backwards.
Yeah, it's always hard to tell where to land on these things sometimes, and a lot of it with standing on these volumes just comes down to being comfortable and confident at the end of the day. Second time lucky there. Nice little hop across. Opted to carry a chart bag on this boulder, possibly a good idea, because there is this slightly easier moment in the middle before you just go out to this zone out with the right hand. You can see there's not a right lot to that hold, or that hold.
Just need to swivel her weight round on this right foot now.
Yeah, I think she could possibly also have that right foot a little bit further up the triangle as well and maximise the height of that lower volume, because this is quite a high step for her now. Like you say, with that heel pointing to the left, super hard to get the hip and foot so high. 57 seconds left on the clock for Billy and Erin.
Pulling on for some last few attempts. Hopefully with a bit of an idea in mind of what they're going to try this time, what their game plan is. I've seen Billy in the bottom corner try some feet first options, some more powerful options, just jumping for it. Oh, Erin just taken her eye literally off the wall to look at the clock and then slipped.
Oh, that's the end of Billy's go as well, yeah. A little bit of Sagaloo. This is the replay. Oh, didn't quite see it, but she did look over her left shoulder and that just threw her body weight out and she zipped off that hold. Bit of a waste, really.
Gaz, do you know if these holds or these blocks are going to stay up at Boulder UK?
I am 99.9% sure that they're going to stay up. But I'm just making that up because you put me on the spot. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they are.
Well, if any of you are watching this comp and would like to find out how hard they actually are, you maybe could ring Boulder UK in the morning and see if they have stayed up. And come and try them for yourselves. It's often easy for us to sit on the couch and talk about all the things that we would have done, but it's quite nice sometimes to actually go and be able to feel the holds. You know, if not quite at this standard, you can at least see what they're trying to pull on to. So I always find it quite interesting to try and revisit competition boulders if I can.
Yeah, if you've got some skin left after the final, yeah, it's definitely worth going back. And sometimes it's like it's a bit of a shock because sometimes you go back to these things and they're quite a lot easier without the pressure, without the crowd, without the heat, without the lights, without the commentator.
Yeah, and I think as well that's where a lot of these athletes that maybe haven't had chance to go to many competitions, regardless if that's international or not, every time you can get on the wall in a competition scenario, you can bag it in your comp experience frame of mind. It's really important.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it just becomes normal. You know, it's like learning to ride a bike, and the first time you get on a bike, obviously you need stabilizers, and then you start to get rid of the stabilizers, and you've got a big wobble on, and then give it a few weeks, and you're standing on the handlebars and smashing it down the street. Well, that's what the kids do anyway. I've seen it on Instagram. It must be true. But you know what I mean. The more exposure you get to these style of blocks, the competition environment, the pressure, the more comfortable and the more normalised it's going to be. Quite close to that little hopper cross, like that.
Still looks like she's second guessing her movements a little bit. I think there's not room for second guessing on a slab.
No, and trying to hit that with the left hand as well is probably not going to work too well. Probably putting the body weight out a bit too far. This men's 3 is proving to be a bit of a toughie.
1:30 to go. Thea is back on and established. Come on, Thea. Come on, Thea.
Work those feet a little bit.
I think she had the right idea that time, just hopping across right hand, right foot, just kind of looked like she's almost on 50% power there. Need to ramp that decision up a little bit and full commit.
Still time to climb these blocks though, 40 seconds on the clock. I know this is a slab and it's quite a slow boulder sometimes, but there's not many movements to it, so Diane also making good progress. Is this going to be a zone? Oh, look at the state of that zone hold. It looks absolutely terrible. So yes, Leah, these final boulders are going to stay up on the wall. Probably just the far right hand boulder, men's number 1, will be taken off, but everything else will be on the wall. And we'll stay up for a couple of weeks, I'm sure. So if you fancy having a look, having a try, having a play on these final boulders in the next couple of weeks, then get yourself down to Boulder UK and just see how hard they are, or maybe how easy they are. Who knows? Max and Michaela now out on their mat, 4 minutes on the clock. Buzzer says go. Straight in with the brush.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how much power Max and Hamish are still left to go, but how much power these two climbers have got left in them.
I mean, it's great seeing Max qualifying in second place and Hamish climbing in first, qualifying in first, and they're both like super good friends, train together a lot, climb together a lot, and no beef between them whatsoever. But out on the mat, they want to win for themselves.
Yeah, I think it's nice that they have each other as push each other for sure, but also as inspiration to see what's possible between them both.
Yeah, totally.
It's really nice to actually have that person to experience and go through that with. You don't have to explain situations really, because often the other person will understand what you're already going through. Michaela
Good start,
making
Michaela there.
This move look quite easy.
Come on, Michaela. Come on, Max. Squeeze, come on.
The zone's pretty bad, Michaela. But you're going to have to use it, I think. Ooh, Max having a good attempt there.
I was going to say Max in the bottom corner did get the zone that go, so he has collected it. Like Super Mario, collecting gold rings, I guess. Definitely bumping him up into current second place, which is a good little jump up that leaderboard. Be fantastic if he can get a top though. Michaela also has this ability to look like she's not going to do a block and then all of a sudden pull it out the bag. So she's still got over a minute and a half. I'm not going to put it past her that she can't do those moves. Because she has a tendency to find something miraculous.
Still just under 1.5 minutes left. Michaela really knows what to do now. She's been on this boulder only once and has been quite close to getting the foot up, so she's prepping it for another final good go. Hopefully Max back on as well, feet out. This thing looks seriously hard.
Just thanks to Matt there for correcting me that Sonic collects rings and Mario collects coins. Like Sonic collecting his rings, there you go.
Who's Sonic?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay, cool. Your hedgehog? Have you got a pet hedgehog?
I had a pet tortoise actually, but not a hedgehog, no.
I had a pet hedgehog in my garden. I've got it. I think I put it on Instagram, a video of it waking up out of his ball after the dogs had attempted to savage it and obviously completely failed. But yeah, he was.
At least it survived.
Yeah, he did. He rolled out, or he or she. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but yeah, they came out of their little roll up and mooched off and let it out the gate back to safety.
Well, mooching off they go. That's Max and Michaela.
Yeah,
Max
no tops on that block.
But they did get their zones. So
yeah, can be very important.
Michaela looking at a first place currently anyway, with one block still to go for her, for everyone. Holly's got another chance, well, a chance on this last block now. And Hamish coming in fourth place.
How is Holly on this style, do you think, Leah? Looking at this female
I think
three.
she's definitely very capable. Technically, she has it in her repertoire to pull it out, but like always, it just depends what's going on upstairs. If she's in a particular good frame of mind, feeling quite confident, then it can completely transform your approach to the block, your route reading to the block. It changes everything. So her climbing will speak a thousand words to see where she's currently at. Again, I know, keep saying it, I can't tell the conditions from here, so we'll see how slippy it feels for her. But Hamish is powering through these moves. He looks happy in this position.
Whoa, this is good from Hamish. Zone in the bank. Can he make it atop? The crowd is getting behind him. Super close now. You just see. Needs to get the match on there. Couldn't quite work that heel into the zone. Went for the match. Couldn't hold it. First go that. 2:40 on the clock. He's got plenty of time now. He probably just needs to rest up. Put in one big final effort. And if he tops that, that will rocket him to the top of the leaderboard. Holly back on now, making that step through, quite nice. So this is not a big step out to the second volume. Quite controlled, quite static. Nice climbing, just climbing through that bottom section.
Moving so smoothly. Come on, Holly.
And opting not to take a chalk bag on this climb seems, again, an interesting decision, but if she moves quickly...
she was just working her feet to the top of that volume and then greased off a little bit. You called it there, Leah. She's getting the chalk bag out. It's going to take it with her this time.
I don't know why. I don't know why you wouldn't just put your chalk bag on before you pull on a slab. I don't know. In my mind, it's like as important as putting your boots on. But
I totally agree. I totally agree, and it should be one of these. It's like it's not even a trick, but it should be just one of these that is drilled into these climbers. You're going onto a boulder that is going to be a slow thing to climb. Take your chalk bag with you.
After a 30 block qualifier.
Yeah. You heard it, kids. If you're listening out there and you're onto a hard slab, take your chalk bag with you, please. Hamish back on. And Holly back in action as well. Hamish opting for the same sequence with the right foot down on the volume. Toe hook. Struggling to hold that, but he does. Right then, we've been here before.
Hopefully he's not climbing in as dark a picture as that looks.
Oh. Right then, Holly, you need to get a little shuffle on here. You've got 17 seconds on the clock. That clock's behind her, so she won't be able to see the time.
It might help it. She will have heard the MC just tell her there. It might help her make some decisions and move quickly through
Only
it.
one move. Oh, she was so close then, and that left hand just popped at the last minute. She knows she should have had that. That would have been a big one there. That would have jumped her right up the leaderboard into second place if she'd have got that top.
I think Holly's body language there says it all.
Yeah. Gutted.
But, again, thinking of it from a training mindset, she's got to go back into isolation. She's got to regroup herself, and this is really good practice for her for the bigger competitions that she'll have coming throughout this season.
Absolutely. I mean, you do an event like this in your home country, and you have an expectation to top at least, some of the blocks in a final, and that obviously isn't going to happen in Boulder World Cup. There's so many strong climbers out there, and if you top one block, you can progress in the Boulder World Cup to a semi-final sometimes. So one is important, and keeping your head above the water and not sinking due to a couple of slips is really important. So this is the fourth and final boulder with the first climber on, Sam Butterworth, obviously climbing on his own. Molly Thompson has pulled out.
Looking comfortable on these moves here. Great hip flexibility. I was going to say, needs to not lose that leg under the volume, but he also needs to not lose his heel off the volume. See, now he pulled on with his chalk bag, has decided that he's not going to stop for long enough to use it, and now we take it off.
Yeah, now he's worked out. He can't let go with one hand, apart from quickly. Yeah.
But for me, that's the way around it should be. So
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see. I think it's really easy sometimes to think that when you enter a competition, you have to perform in every single competition. And actually, if you can switch that mindset around and go there to learn something and how to better yourself for next time, and there will always be another competition. And it's trying to figure out and reflect on after you finish competing, what went well, what didn't go well, how can I better myself, what can I do next time that's going to help. And it's not all about this one-time event. It's how you can better yourself for the next one.
Now, I don't know if you saw that, but Sam turned to the camera and showed off a bottle of liquid chalk, and gecko chalk I think it's called. And I was actually thinking to myself, I've not seen anybody taking a moment between the blocks. I've probably just missed them a couple of times, but taking a moment between the attempts and putting some liquid chalk on. And then suddenly Sam pops up and there he is, using the liquid chalk.
Using his time fairly wisely, again, my opinion, but he knows what's in front of him. He knows what it is he's got to do, and he's not racing to get back on. He's his last block, making sure he's had a rest and that his next go is as good as it can be. He's not pulling straight back on really tired.
Boulder UK, let's get into the top of this boulder.
Doesn't seem complicated. He knows what it is.
Come on, Sam.
Can he pull on and execute?
Come on, Sam. Squeeze. Come on, Sam. Come on, Sam. Sam.
Great
Yes, he
top
can.
there from Sam Butterworth, second attempt. Is he a happy chap after that? Perfect execution of a boulder problem there. One go, like you say, with his chalk bag on. Got rid of the chalk bag, took a rest, applied some liquid chalk and smashed it with 34 seconds on the clock remaining. That was a great
Okay, let's welcome
demonstration
athletes,
of
Toby
competition
Hayes.
climbing there. Next out then we have got the super talented Toby Roberts. And I say that because he is not just a specialist in the bouldering arena, but he is also a pro on the routes, and not just plastic routes either. You'll see him on the rock, absolutely smashing some of the hardest routes in the UK to smithereens. Tara Hayes just attempting that first move. Toby's about to have his first attempt now.
Toby moving well, straight off the bat. Come on, Toby. So strong, give it depth. Come on.
Oh, very, very different approach there to
I mean, whoa. Toby made that
Yeah.
look about V3.
kind of took me back a little bit. Yeah, very different approach to Sam on that front. Looked very, very comfortable on that wide pinch.
Boulder UK, all focus on Tara Hayes right now. Come on, Tara.
All eyes
And
now.
The route setters, they were feeling extra nice to give the girls a combination pop at the end. Not quite a jump. Looks like you can not have to have all 4 points off at the same time, but Tara constantly looking at her fingers. Of I'm feeling for her a little bit with how thin her skin must be. Again, Tara is a route setter, so she will be also back at work next week setting some more blocks.
And this is one of the superstars of the all. Come on, Tara. Come on, Tara. Super strong. Come on.
Looking like she's just losing tension over her left foot there, but equally if there's not fingers are hurting, there's not much want to hang on as strong as you probably would be able to if your skin wasn't hurting.
Come on, Tara. Come on, Tara.
Steep bit of wall there. She doesn't really do it justice, this camera angle's being so straight on. Left hand fairly slopey, right hand a good pinch, but again with that much movement, when I say pinch, it's more horizontal pinch.
Yeah, it's one of the steepest sections, the start of this, and but need to keep trying. You've got one block left, a few more attempts, 1 minute on the clock. Tara needs to dig really deep now. 1-2 into the shoulder. doesn't seem to really want to do that move so much. But I mean, it's really hard to tell now at this stage. She's obviously tired. 30 qualifier blocks yesterday. Semi-final this morning. Final this afternoon. It's always a hard weekend, a competition like this. She's not just looking at her skin, she is also looking tired as well. Crowd getting behind her. Last attempt this is going to be for her Plywood Masters 2022. That is it, and we say goodbye to Tara Hayes. Great performance, making it into this semi-final.
I think she might be quite relieved that that's now over.
Yeah. Is she happy because she had a good comp, or is she happy because she can go home now?
Start attending to her thin fingertips.
Both climbers now, Billy and Erin, prepping the blocks. Billy will obviously know this has just been topped, so he will have a good idea of what he needs to do to keep himself up high on that leaderboard, currently sitting in second place at the moment.
Knowing the kind of blocks that Billy sets, I feel like this will be fairly up his street. Shouldn't be too taxing for him.
Oh, good catch there from Erin. Amazing.
Feel for the pop, and that was smooth. She's got quite a lot of confidence on these holds. They've been around a while. The climbers will know them. Oh, Billy just popping off in the bottom corner. A lot of core required here for Erin now.
This is awesome bit of climbing from Erin. We saw Tara having a real epic there and top. That is a big result, I think, for Erin at the last minute. That little 1-2. That was pretty awesome to watch, wasn't it, Leah?
Yeah, a big smile on her face there. That'll be a nice ending for her competition. Always good to top the last block.
Yeah, well, that rockets up into first place. So now it's for everybody else to lose it. She has done what she can do. But now all eyes are on Billy. He needs to top this to go ahead into first place.
Come on, Billy, let's go. Come on, Billy.
I mean, Toby was so strong on that move to that pinch. He's opting for this high foot. One hand, two hand on the top. Yeah, he'll be happy with that now. And Billy jumps up into first place. Yeah, that's a happy chappy. It's quite amazing how happy like 2 or 3 moves can make you, eh?
It's a few small moments of joy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I've just pulled on some fiberglass things and got to the top. A couple of people have clapped. I'm very happy. Yeah.
Quite happy with myself. Off I go. That's the pursuit of a climber, no? Pull on things and be happy.
Yeah. Looks like it's gladiators ready with their sticks out to do some brush battles.
Hey, maybe we've got a new sport there, Gaz. If you are those earbud type things where you whack each other with them off a pedestal before you have to do a climb. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Sound like big earbuds. So Diane on the right and Erin on the left. Erin is the first. Sorry, Thea. Thea is the first to pull on. Tries to go straight up into a press and then changes his mind, drops down to that undercut. 1, 2. Oh, got a hand to that left hold. Didn't quite hold it.
This block for the boys looking fairly... I'm not saying this is easy, I'm just saying it looks fairly basic in terms of the movement. I wonder if a lot of them are over-reading it and second-guessing their movements and then fully committing, like Diane just moving up the block with ease.
I think you're right. I think using the word easy is totally the wrong word, but because he did look like he was struggling on that move to the pinch, and you know, we know it's going to be still a hard block. At the end of the day, when Billy can fall off it, it's not easy. It's such a fine line between something that's climbable and something that's not climbable at this stage of the game. Diane's left the arena now, and it's all eyes on Thea Cameron as she steps back up for her second attempt. Oh, that was close. Really got into that left hand there. Couldn't quite hold it.
Still plenty of time to go.
Looking like she's going really, like, quite dynamic to those two holds. Now, obviously, I know it's a dynamic move, but Erin just before her almost looked like she slowed it down to the first one and then sped it up to the second one. I wonder if small details in pace can actually mean the difference holding these holds or not. That looked better.
That was better, yeah. It was very similar to what you were just describing, Leah. Seemed to go quite slow to that right, and then you've got to come quickly up into that left-hand shoulder, and then it's all a load of tension.
Even the way Thea just fell off there actually showed she's starting to get a little bit more weight through those hands when she's holding the swing.
We have seen
I think she knows what.
Go for it.
Go on.
Well, we have seen already that if you do this move, you probably are going to the top. This is not quite able to hold that right hand.
Get the brush there. Come on, last block. Let's keep up this energy. Yeah, that right hand for me really needs a good brush. I think she knows what it is she's got to do. She's just got to want it enough to stay on that right hand.
That's it. We're now into the last 30 seconds and less. Come on, Thea. Now she's starting to look tired on it. She's just not really able to engage that right hand when she hits it. That's the end of Thea Cameron's campaign this afternoon. Great effort getting to the final. Now we have a couple of really big guns out onto the mat for their final time. Max Milne, Michaela Tracy. Not too sure which one would win in an arm wrestle actually between these two.
My money's on Michaela. Any kind of wrestling, my money's on Michaela.
Yeah, she's not weak.
No.
And the one thing about Michaela's climbing as well, you can actually see her dig deeper. You know, sometimes when it starts to get hard, she can just dig and try harder.
Yeah, she's definitely a competitor that has that sixth gear. She uses it when she needs to, getting close on that move. Max looking chill, seemingly sticking to these holds. Bit of an easy block for the guys there at the end of that comp.
Yeah,
Easier,
Max just jumping up into second place with that top.
So with Hamish still to come out after Max, the best Max will be able to do, the worst Max will be able to do is third, but we'll have to see what Hamish is capable of after he comes out.
If Hamish flashes that block, then it'll bump Billy down and Max down. That'll be our 1, 2, 3. Meanwhile, Michaela Tracy is still out on the mat for this last boulder.
Come on, Michaela. Every single move so physical.
Michaela looking like she's jumping quite a lot off the right foot. I wonder if transferring her weight just a little bit more onto the left would help her just in the latter half of that swing. Control those holds a little bit more. They are going to be very slippy now after everyone's been grabbing them, but again, she's not used to an open-handed slippy hold, so sorry, she's very used to it even. She's she can maneuver around them fairly well, so see if she can dig in here. Give it some. Here we go. Ooh. So we'll see Michaela go one of two ways now. She's getting close and she's figured out that movement. And she's either going to push on and absolutely smash it, or we might see her start to falter a little bit as emotions take over. Don't know how much comp practice she's been getting over in America, so we'll see where her headspace is in this next attempt.
Just under a minute now. Got the gurn on. Oh, she's just not able to keep those shoulders engaged.
I think she's focusing so much on the hands and getting to the grips, which yes is important, your primary point of contact, but there's so much more going on around her hips and the movement through to the feet. It's something that you can't forget with moves like this. I know you want to go and grab those holds, but that centre of gravity is a really important thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Erin was super impressive on this move. Really shows how hard it is. Yeah, she's just not able to get up into the shoulders and keep that right hand going and doing some work. It's all going onto the left hand and she's not able to hold it. Oh, she's held it now.
Oh,
sadly that is timeout. Drops off. Hand on the zone, so hands in the air. Shake of the head.
If the judge has given her the zone or not.
And last but not least, for their last boulders and the last
Can't quite tell from that, but we'll see with the end results if she was in time or out of time.
No zone for Michaela by the looks of it. It's our final two climbers out now on the Plywood Masters stage 2022 here in Blackburn at Boulder UK. We have Hamish MacArthur brushing the blue holds to the right and Holly Tutil brushing the orange holds to the left.
And I think we'll have a flash for Hamish and a second go for Holly.
Oof. I'm going for double flash.
Come on, Hamish.
Making that move look quite steady to that pinch. Obviously he's a little bit taller than most of the competitors. The reach wasn't too hard. Very flexible up into that left foot. Two hands on the top. That's Hamish MacArthur. Straight to the top of that boulder.
Holly seeing if she can break the beater there with a little wry smile on her face. I think she knows what she needs to do for the 1-2.
Again, looking very similar to Michaela. Not able to really get up into those shoulders to hold those two presses. She's down on straight arms and that right hand's not going to stay on that slopey hold. Got to keep some pressure, I think, getting up into those shoulder press.
This is that learning process now that she'll be going through of eliminating what doesn't work, what she might need to try harder on next time, going back to her original way.
Going for the...
that looks like
it might work, that. A good old undergup. Undergup the pocket. Classic manoeuvre. I mean, when you see the shot from above this shot now, you know, the distances between the holes actually look quite close. From the start hold there, pocket, and then over to the sloper. But when you see the front on shot from low down, then you really see the distance these competitors have got to travel. Holly is the last climber out on the mat of this year's Plywood Masters. It's been an excellent event. Setters have done a great job. Guys at Boulder UK. Yes, Holly Tutil holds that double. Back onto the match on the right hand side. Up with the right hand. Gets the toe hook. Is she going to go to the top?
Yeah.
Come on, Holly.
Faith, Holly.
2 hands on the top. What a great finish for Holly Tutil to the Plywood Masters 2022. A top in the last minute of the competition. Great result there. Well, there we have it. Billy Rydell, by the looks of it, is going to be taking home the gold. We just have the judges checking everything, and I think those are the final results that have just come up. Billy Rydell in first place, Max Milne taking second, Hamish MacArthur in third place, with some valiant battles from Toby Roberts in fourth, Diane Akhtar in fifth, and Sam Butterworth must be pretty pleased for making the final. For the women, a great win there by Erin McNeese. Michaela Tracy taking the silver medal, Holly Tutil with that top in the bronze. Tara Hayes, Molly Thompson-Smith, I hope her shoulder is going to be better quickly, and it's not too bad, and Thea Cameron in sixth place. Well, Leah, that was a great event this weekend, and it's been a pleasure to be in the commentary booth with yourself. Did you enjoy it?
Gaz, I loved it. It's like I was saying at the start, it's been a long time since I've done any commentary and competitions, and I've loved being back. It's so good to see the competitors back on the wall and actually, you know, watch them move and try and break down the movements and what's going well and what's not going so well. So hopefully there'll be more events to commentate on in the future. But yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, well, I think the next event in the UK is one in Sheffield, isn't it? I don't know the date, but it's coming up pretty soon. It's the Climbing Works International Festival, so drop that into Google, and there will be a live feed for that as well. And well, thanks very much for joining us. Thanks very much for coming into the commentary booth, Leah. And I hope you all enjoyed the event this weekend. And I'd just finally like to thank Boulder UK for putting on once again another excellent Plywood Masters 2022. Goodbye.